I'm Dr. Laurena Law. As a medical doctor, I regularly receive supplement questions from women navigating menopause. Many ask me about creatine after hearing claims about its benefits for energy, muscle strength, and brain function. Today, I want to give you an honest, evidence-based look at what we actually know about creatine for women in menopause. The research is growing, but it's also complex. Some studies show promise, others show mixed results, and there are important gaps we need to acknowledge. My goal is to help you understand both the potential benefits and the limitations, so you can make an informed decision with your healthcare provider. First, let's clarify what creatine is. It's a naturally occurring compound made from amino acids that your body produces and that you can get from foods like meat and fish. It helps regenerate ATP, which is essentially your cellular energy currency. Now, here's what makes this relevant for women in menopause. Research shows women naturally have 70 to 80% lower creatine stores than men, yet paradoxically have about 10% higher concentrations in muscle tissue at rest. During menopause, hormone changes may further affect how our bodies produce and use creatine. But here's where we need to be honest about the research quality. A recent comprehensive review by Tam and colleagues in 2025 analyzed studies on creatine in active women. What they found should caution us about creatine. Of the studies that showed positive effects, only 5 adequately described the randomization methods. Less than half properly blinded participants, and only 2 blinded the investigators. Most importantly, only 3 studies even collected information about participants' menstrual cycles. This matters because menstrual cycle affects creatine metabolism. When studies don't account for this, we cannot make definitive conclusions. The review found that out of 11 studies on strength and power, 9 showed some improvement, and only 3 demonstrated statistically significant benefits compared to placebo. Now let's look at some specific examples. The Chilibbe Study from 2023 is one of our better quality trials. They followed 237 postmenopausal women for 2 full years. That's unusually long for supplement research. The women took either creatine or placebo while doing resistance training and walking. The results were nuanced. Creatine didn't increase bone mineral density, the headline measures they hoped for. However, it did improve bone structural properties that predict fracture resistance. This suggests potential benefits, but not the dramatic bone-building effects sometimes claimed online. For performance, the picture is mixed. Studies that show benefits typically use either a loading phase of 20 grams daily for 5 to 7 days, followed by 3 to 5 grams daily, or simply 3 to 5 grams daily without loading. But remember, many of these studies had methodological limitations. It's important to note that virtually all research studies use creatine monohydrate. This is the gold standard form that has been most extensively studied and proven effective. While you see other forms marketed like creatine hydrochloride or buffered creatine, the research supporting these alternatives is limited compared to the decades of data on creatine monohydrate. Regarding safety, this is where the evidence is strongest. A 2020 systematic review specifically focused on women found no serious adverse events among 951 female participants. No kidney problems, no liver issues, no significant weight gain beyond initial water retention. Here's what we don't know. And it's important to be transparent about this. We have very limited data on cognitive and mood effects in menopausal women specifically. Most cognitive studies were done in younger populations or mixed groups. We also don't have optimal dosing strategies established specifically for menopausal women. These protocols showing benefits range from 3 grams daily to loading phases with 20 grams daily, but we can't say conclusively which approach is best for women in this life stage. Let me give you some practical examples of how women might incorporate creatine into their routines based on the research protocols that showed benefits. Scenario 1. Sarah, aged 52, does strength training twice a week. She might start with 3 grams of creatine monohydrate daily, mixed into her morning coffee or post-workout smoothie. The powder is virtually tasteless and dissolves easily. She gives it 6 to 8 weeks to assess any improvement in her workout recovery or strength gains. Scenario 2. Maria, age 52, is new to exercise and wants to maximize her efforts. Her doctor approves a loading approach. She takes 5 grams of creatine monohydrate 4 times daily for 1 week, then drops it to 3 grams daily. She mixes it with water throughout the day and takes it consistently at the same times. Scenario 3. Jennifer, age 49, prefers simplicity. She takes 5 grams of creatine monohydrate once daily with breakfast, no loading phase. She tracks her energy levels during her walking and yoga routines over 2 months. So where does this leave you? The evidence suggests creatine monohydrate is safe for most healthy women and may offer some benefits for muscle function and bone strength when combined with exercise. However, the research quality varies, and we need more menopause-specific studies. If you're considering creatine, here are some practical considerations. Timing doesn't significantly matter. You can take it with breakfast, post-workout, or whenever is most convenient. What matters is consistency. Creatine monohydrate mixes well with water, coffee, smoothies, or even yogurt. Some women find it easier to remember when they pair it with an existing habit. Here are some key questions to discuss with your healthcare provider. Based on my health history and medications, is creatine monohydrate appropriate for me? Should I start with 3 to 5 grams daily or consider a loading phase? How should we monitor for benefits or any concerns? What realistic expectations should I have for my specific situation? Remember, creatine monohydrate isn't a magic solution for menopause symptoms. The most robust evidence supports its use alongside resistance training for muscle and bone health. If you decide to try it, choose creatine monohydrate, the form with the most research backing. Give it at least 6 to 8 weeks to assess any benefits, and maintain realistic expectations based on the current evidence. The science on creatine for women is evolving. While we have promising early evidence, we need better research that accounts for the unique aspects of female physiology. Until then, approach it as one potential tool in a comprehensive approach to health during menopause. Thank you for watching, and remember, informed decisions are empowered decisions.